Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bearhug Club podcast, coming at you on the Wednesday Night Paul live stream. Greg here, joined by Garrett and Scott. How's it going, my boys?
After you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, everything is going well. I am back at work, and it sucks.
I'm doing really good. I'm having a good day. I had wrestling yesterday. Had to wrestle on Monday. Really good sessions. I'm pretty hyped about the week.
It's great to hear, man.
I think Greg's biggest mistake was giving me
giving you control,
co-control.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Wait, Scott, you've got control, right?
I do, yes, but I'm nice.
he's the face of this podcast, not me.
I'm here with a rescuer's mug. Nothing screams likable fella quite like that.
I am here with a bootleg Overwatch spray T-shirt.
Yeah, I did.
Stolen from someone on Redbubble. So you know, not only dead game, but also stolen merchandise. So that's full heel if I've ever heard it.
Well, if we're talking dead T-shirts, I'm currently wearing a Kellogg's Cornflakes T-shirt.
You got that from Topshop?
Yes. Oh no, not Topshop. It was Primark. Sorry, it was Primark.
I'm wearing.
You didn't even win it in a box or anything. You just got it from Primark.
I'm currently wearing some very rare merchandise from Primark at the moment.
Ooh.
Because I don't know if you heard, boys, and people in the UK, they did a collab with Greg's, the bakers, and the Newcastle shop was one of the first places to do it, and stuff sold out really quickly. But I've got some joggers on, and they're pretty damn comfortable.
Well, stand up, give us a twirl. I'm afraid if you're gonna say you got some joggers on, we're gonna have to see Greg in the Greg's joggers.
Wait. There's the logo.
Oh!
And then it's like, wait. Can I get it?
I was really hoping he was going to turn. I was really hoping he was going to turn, and there would be like a sausage roll on the arse.
Yeah, I was thinking like coming out of the pocket. That's dope.
Yeah. No,
I'd buy the shit. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a very rare. Like they're only doing it in a few shops, and the Newcastle one's one of the first, obviously, because that's where the chain's from. And it's like selling out like that. Like we went in on Saturday, there was just like 3 pairs of joggers just lowly sat there. But they've got like shirts, hats, everything.
I just had like a dystopian Mad Men flashback to the point where like, when did they trick us into just being billboards for them?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's been going on. That's been a trend since the 2000s when you could get like a Jack Daniels T-shirt, Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Well, speaking of T-shirts, let's talk about some wrestling T-shirts. What's the best ones you have? What are some? Has anyone ever been like, oh, cool shirt or shit shirt? For example, yesterday at wrestling, I haven't had time to do washing in a while, so I was wearing a Young Bucks shirt.
Fucking Mark.
Someone said something about like doing a super kick, and then looked at me and was like,
have you tried a super kick yet? Is that going to be part of the repertoire?
Oh, I've been doing super kicks with Scott forever. I've been doing super kicks with Scott since the dawn of time.
Yeah, since the moment we bonded over wrestling, we were just doing super kicks and the Shinsuke Nakamura dips. We're all over London. Very good.
Yeah, I think I have a pretty decent super kick. I think it's all right, especially like for my height as well. It's not too bad. I'm relatively limber with my right leg. My left leg can might as well be amputated, to be honest.
Mine's certainly getting there. I can. I have a friend who Garrett may know from Story Boys called Rob. He's 6'6", and I can get to his head with a super kick. So I'm just like, that can be my one move. The Young Bucks managed to make a gimmick out of it a couple of years ago, so that could be my one move.
They killed the business, don't you know? We'll probably I want to do the audiobook version of Killing the Business eventually on the book club. The Bearhug book club.
Themselves?
I think they do. I believe they both do a reading of that one. When the Moxley one comes out, that's one I especially want in audiobook form. Just because it'd be really interesting to just have them go on it.
But I want to listen.
You got the hardback?
I've got the hardback coming. should be here any day now. But I would like to get the audio version, especially if he's the one reading it.
My headphones cut out, but I assume it was you being hyped about hearing John Moxley.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of the book club, I mean, I started reading Foley's book. If you're not aware, we've got a book club now. The first book's Mick Foley's first biography. Started reading it the other day, and I've nearly finished it again. I forgot how good that book was. Won't go too deep into it, but yeah, I've been fairly enjoying going back through it for like the 4th or 5th time now.
Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity yet. I've got some time on Sunday after my wrestling school show on Saturday sold out at the Plymouth Guildhall. So I'm obviously new to the. I've done 10. That was my 10th session yesterday. I have a tradition currently where with a Sharpie on my knee pads, I score off every time I do a session. I don't think anyone has noticed yet, and if they have, they're like, "What the fuck is he doing?" But I'm doing it anyway because it looks good on the behind the scenes videos I'm doing. But yeah, they sent out to our group like a big PDF of like, because people are helping set up on the Friday, and then everyone's helping early on the Saturday, all the way through the show, and then help afterwards, etc. So I'm going up on the Saturday from about 11 in the morning to 11 at night, and then I think we've got the venue afterwards, so we can have a few drinks and stuff. And they don't know me very well yet, or like the person doing it doesn't know me very well yet, so I completely understand. But I look at it and I'm like, I'm litter picking all day. That's fine. I won't complain. I will pay my dues, but I will definitely use it in a promo a year down the line.
Come on, you got to pay your dues. You're a young boy, Garrett. You know you got to be doing all the really horrible jobs, making the brews, picking up the litter,
making
handing out flyers,
doing the laundry.
Yeah. And now that these podcasts are going out there and you're talking about your journey, this technically counts as a promo. So
you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna shoot. I'm shooting right now on. I'm gonna shoot right now on. I don't. I probably won't say anyone's the name of the guy. Carl was actually the other guy I was gonna talk about. He's great, and I had a match with Carl, and he's really cool. That was when I had like the match with the last week. But no, Ed, becoming friends with Ed, messaged him a few times. He's from China, and he like is very blunt and to the point. So we're like fairly good friends. I messaged him before, talked to him the day before, and I was like, he said he's having a bad week, so I was like, hope you're doing well. And he was like, thanks, man. We both get there first, and we're like chatting, all this kind of thing. Have a great thing. He is like getting way better and way better. His selling like week after week is really good. And he, in their little match, right, that they were doing, him and Kurt Rain, who I think debuted very recently, really sick gear, and he makes really nice shirts. Whatever. He hit this running knee that everyone on the outside was like, holy fuck, that was so good. It was like fucking Kenny Omega level running knee. And it wasn't, and then he just did it, and then he got up and did a crossbody for the finish. And we were all like, no, so good. Anyway, after the match, he rolls out, and then he just points at me and goes, I need to lift home. And I'm like, oh, okay. Never explained this to me before, but it was just like, I'm coming in your car. So yeah. That was does that count as shooting? Everyone says shoot interview these days. Or like, this guy shoots on this guy, but he's just like, yeah, he was a really cool guy. I had a great time.
I think it's because shoot is like a very violent sounding verb. It always people get flashbacks of like CM Punk shooting on WWE on Colt Cabana's podcast. But most of the time, like all it really means is to tell the truth about or to spill the beans about. And most of the time, because people are very civil and professional in the wrestling business, they're usually like, oh yeah, they got my nerves on tour by like being loud in the dressing room, but then we sorted things out and they're actually really nice and I appreciate the work they're currently doing.
I'm gonna
shoot. This will be all over Wrestle Talk.
I'm shooting on Edward right now. He's really nice, and he's really nice to me. Ooh, I hope he has a good day.
I feel like
Wrestle Talk or whatever.
I was gonna say I feel like Wrestle Talk and Cultaholic and all those other places kind of ruined the idea of a shoot. Like
Yeah.
it's just become a clickbaity thing where you see it and you think, oh, there's some dirt going on here, and it turns out to be nothing. Nothing at all.
Well, like when we started watching wrestling, or when I started watching, because they were watching it before I was, and they introduced me to it. They being this guy. You know, we watched Cultaholic, but we watched Watch Culture, right? And before they moved over to Cultaholic, and that's kind of like where we got our news from. We'd like wake up in the morning, play some wrestling, be like, oh, new Cultaholic video, throw it on the TV, and we'd be like, oh, cool. But now that I'm like, you know, I read the newsletter, I read Fightful and all of this kind of thing. And I then see it go onto Twitter, and then people talk about it on Twitter, and then I see it go onto someone else's story, and then I see it go onto a YouTube video, and I'm like, it's like Chinese whispers where you're like, it's not the same story that it was there. Like we had the Renee interview with, was it Dax? I forget if it was Dax or Cash.
Was it both of FDR or was it just one of them?
I think it was just one.
It might have been Dax, I think.
Yeah, I haven't been able to catch the whole thing, but I've only listened to like little snippets. But like I listened to it, and he talks about how the Raw 25 and how rough that was, and how the story about Shawn Michaels or whatever. He doesn't say it with like venom in his voice or anything. He's just like, yeah, it was a bit disappointing. I mean, you know, that Shawn did this behind my back, and or like, you know, spoke about me that way, and then go down the line to the YouTube videos, and it's like he wants to kill Shawn Michaels. No, I'm not sure of that one. Like there's heat. It's so hot. There's heat.
It's the fact that we're gonna stumble across it in our YouTube feed in a bit. It's like Garrett wants to run Ed over in his car. It's like, yeah, no. Like, I do get what you mean, Garrett, as well. When you're on Twitter and you see like a story slowly change, like a word would alter only slightly, and then someone else would take it, and then it would just keep going in that direction until
It's almost like each quote retweet adds a little bit of context, maybe not from the story, but from somewhere else, right? So when I'm listening to that story, I'm like, oh, that's a bit of a shitty thing for him to do. And then David Bixenspan is like, yeah, here's a top 20 list of everything wrong Shawn Michaels has done. And it's like, yeah, well, yeah, I guess it's kind of, yeah, all right, fair enough. And then the next person is like, yeah, but he was nice to all of these people. And you're like, well, yeah, he hits a good super kick, and that's all I'll say about him. I won't. Yep.
Sexy boy.
He's just a sexy boy, not a boy toy.
Yeah. Context is a funny thing when it's something like wrestling journalism, where wrestlers are spending most of their day training and having their own social lives, and then wrestling, and then promoting, and then marketing a brand for their merch, and then contract discussions upon booking, upon all this stuff. They barely get a time in the day to do a journalism interview. So when they do, and since there's so many journalists looking at wrestling, yeah, it makes for a weird landscape.
There's a weird like sort of in between. Once you get to the big leagues, you know, WWE or whatever, you're not a promoter anymore, like really. But like, even if your job title in a lower thing, you know, like my Reach Wrestling sold out Guildhall Plymouth this Saturday, or you could watch the Unit 10 show at 7 p.m. tonight on their YouTube channel. Even the promoter there is just one of the promoters. You as a wrestler, you are the promoter. You're promoting yourself and your match and your opponent and, you know, your tag team, whoever else. And there's like a weird middle ground as you go up. Like Gabriel Kidd, if you don't know what's happening with Gabriel Kidd, right? He's just sort of breaking out. He went to you've probably seen him wrestle like around and about, but he's sort of completely changed his look. like stepped up to the next level, went to train under New Japan in America, I think, in the LA dojo, which would be under, the wrestler himself. And then he went on a podcast, and just I don't know the entire ins and outs of it, but some people think he put his foot in it, and then he got some shit on Twitter, and to the point where it's spiraled to the point where he needs to take some time off for, like, mental health reasons. So there is an in-between where I think that in a WWE where you're not the promoter and you don't have to be that outward side, I suppose, and you don't have to try and sell, like, you don't have to try and put a match together by just making heat on Twitter and getting misconstrued. Yeah, I don't know. There's probably a big conversation there that we can talk about, and use of it. There are people who use social media right, people who use social media wrong. I remember one tweet very recently from Will Ospreay where he was like, somebody I don't know, fucking diddled a kid, and he was like, I don't support cancel culture, but it's like, Will. Now, look, I don't support cancel culture, but what Hitler was doing was wrong. And I trained where he trained, so it's fine. We're best mates.
He's my best friend.
I'm not shooting on him. I just think that.
No, you are, because then we have a match with him.
Garrett wants to run over Will Ospreay in his car.
By the time I think I could get to a level in a company where they're like, and then 3 people get injured to the point where they're like, you and Ospreay, because we've got Ospreay booked, and you're the only one that can do it. By the point I'm there, Ospreay's probably going to be, well, I say Ospreay would be like 45, but that would make me like 40. So, that's when it would be.
How long is this journey going to take for you?
Like, they'll use clips of this in the. I've got to earn my dues. I've got to pick up litter at the Reach Wrestling Plymouth show at the Guildhall, sold out this Saturday.
I mean, our goal is just to get every wrestler so mad at you that when you do face them, it's not going to be good news for you. I mean, so far it's Del Rio, now it's Ospreay.
Yep.
We're just going to keep building on that
Norwich.
list. Yeah, the whole of Norwich.
Oh, the whole city of Norwich. Yeah. Paige is not going to be happy about that.
Basically, the whole Knight family are going to kill you. And
yes, even Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh will come back and beat the shit out of me. Nick Frost is gonna what was it? Roll a bowling ball into my nuts or whatever it was. I can't remember what the bit in the movie was.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I'm pretty sure it was that. He was talking to the other thing. He was like, you take a bowling ball.
That's like the funniest scene. He like keeps hitting him with stuff, and he's like, yeah, he's all right with that.
A friend of mine's in that movie as well. He plays the blind guy in Norwich. His name is Jack Goldborn. He's a good acting boy.
Actually blind? Shoot blind?
Not actually blind. Not actually blind. Put on blind. But when he said he was in it, I was like, okay, maybe he has like 1 or 2 speaking lines. No, he's like a recurring character with a couple of lines.
He's like a big emotional. Yeah. He's like almost an emotional heart. There's a bit where, like, I think she goes back to it because she's lost love for it, and then she sees him wrestling, and she's like, you know what? This wrestling thing is pretty good.
I think it's more for the brother, isn't it? Because like you've got the 2 different arcs. There.
Well, he's training. The brother's training the blind guy, isn't he?
Yeah, but then like
she's like,
the whole thing is like those kids kind of depend on the brother, and because he
because he kind of spirals. Sure.
Yeah.
I will say that film is really, really, really good.
I think
really
it's
fucking good.
Really good.
It definitely dramatizes a lot of what happens, and anyone who knows the story or knows the story, anyone who's sort of relatively familiar will be like, that's not exactly when that happened or how that happened. But I think in terms of like the screenplay for it, how they've edited that story down, really fucking good.
Really,
you're right. I mean, we could be those snarky wrestling fans watching it going, well, actually, I think you'll find that that did happen.
Actually, she was NXT women's champion.
But no, I agree. Like I think because the whole idea was it wasn't just trying to appeal to wrestling fans; it was to appeal to a wider audience. So naturally, cutting down the story a little bit just to have this more concise narrative works well for it. And you still get the crux of what it was. It was this like girl from England who came from a wrestling family who were basically booking next to no shows into their own territory and made it to become one of the biggest stars in WWE. It's a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, and speaking to Jack about like the process, because I think I was drunk when I asked him. I was like, "Oh, did you meet The Rock?" He was like, "No, Scott, but I did meet Nick Frost, so that's
lovely.
on you."
That's honestly, I would genuinely rather meet Nick Frost than I would The Rock.
Yeah, apparently he's like the most humble, nice. I know these are like all kind of very typical, very almost tropish at this point to say like, "Oh, I met such and such celebrity and they were very humble and nice," as if.
So what you're saying is your friend didn't shoot on Mr. Frost.
Well, you can hear it here first, folks, as your journalistic insight to this story. He said he wanted to run over Nick Frost with his car.
Good. That's what we were looking for. There's the fucking title of the YouTube video.
Just a silhouette of Nick Frost and someone going.
I'm gonna have such fun making
Simon Pegg coming out and saying, "I did it for Nick Frost." Too far? Is a bit too far, maybe.
No, I like it.
All right, well, that was a tangent that went from wrestling merch, people that hate me, and then meeting Nick Frost, and many things in between.
What a roller coaster!
This is a lovely little one. It was a great time. It was a great time.
Well, while we're on the subject of the whole sort of wrestling films, what is your favorite kind of wrestling portrayed in other media, excluding Fight With My Family and obviously The Wrestler? So, like the two biggest examples, like anything from TV or a film or whatever.
I'll have you know, it's obviously Spider-Man. I got you for 3 minutes, Spider-Man.
That's a classic one.
It's so it's
so
great because in the Sam Raimi universe, wrestling is legit. Like wrestling is like non-scripted, actually real. Like arguably, wrestling is the reason Uncle Ben dies. You know?
Yeah.
Nothing gets more kayfabe than that.
If he wasn't having to wait for Peter after that library visit, wouldn't be dead.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go,
folks.
I think a favorite one of mine, because I watched it again the other day, and I've put a clip on our socials, is the Futurama episode where Bender enters the ultimate robot fighting.
Sure.
Mainly because like the jokes in that they get it. Like when he fights the foreigner, he cuts that promo and goes, "I'm not from around here. I have different customs. Look at my crazy passport." It's like that's like every foreign import looking ever.
Like it's a joke, but like it's a stereotype because it's exactly what happens. Like
it's basically
it's 100% how people still book people to this day. If you go to a little show with 50 people, you will find some guy from Greece who has been booked as an Iranian man to be like, you know, some terrorist character that the booker is like, this is genius. No one has ever done this before. I'm gonna be this is gonna break out.
I mean, it's like even when it's something like the French Canadian, they'll just be like, well, you speak a bit of French, we'll just go all out with the French aspect to that.
Sure. You're the Mountie. You're gonna be. When was the last good French gimmick? Remember a good French gimmick?
Last one I remember was like Rene Dupree, La Resistance.
Sure.
I
don't know why. I don't know why my mind can't go to wrestling, and all I'm thinking of is Bon Voyage from The Incredibles.
Oh please, Monsieur Incroyable. Incredible. I love that film so much. I could be here all day, but Bon Voyage, also a very pivotal part of The Incredibles.
Yep.
What am I talking about?
He is the catalyst, I would say, that starts the whole downfall of the superheroes in that universe.
Yeah, and causes the conflict between Mr. Incredible and 2B Syndrome. So yeah, he really gets the dominoes falling. And to be fair, no better homage can be paid without giving him a wrestling character. A good French wrestling gimmick.
You know what I don't understand about that film is like I understand Mr. Incredible not needing a sidekick, but he's with this like little kid who invented his own rocket boots. Like, surely you could use him for something. You know what I mean? It's clearly this guy's a genius. He's like, what, 12 and he can fly with his own boots he made. Like, why are you not having him make at least some gadgets or something? You've got a car that already transforms. Like, get him to make something for you.
It's all about hubris, Greg. They've all got that big hubris. And
Yahube, Ariel.
Yahube, Ariel. Yeah, it's all about the
hubris.
So, yeah.
Let's say Bon Voyage does wrestle, and he uses bombs in his matches. Speaking of items used in matches, what is too far? What is not far enough? And what would you use? For example, I think that there are a lot of items in wrestling that people just pick up once and they're like, yeah, this is me. Like Jericho has a bat, and like apparently it's got a name. Is it Lucille? Floyd? No, Lucille is Walking Dead, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've also got a character on The Walking Dead that does that. Negan. Yes, Floyd. Why?
It was because they had the whole thing going with. I'm sure it was introduced with the Matt Hardy thing because he destroyed Vanguard 1 with it. I think that might have been where it started.
But also, why?
But again, why? I mean,
like, Sting has a bat, and like other people have bats. I would understand if you were like like I don't know, a baseball player has a bat. That makes sense to me.
I mean, again, we're reading the man's book who basically got a sock puppet over, and it was the biggest thing of the Attitude Era. It just, and then weird shit gets over in wrestling.
Okay, sure, it gets over, but it was like the first one, really, to get over. Other bats have got over. There are other famous bats before Floyd.
Name 5.
Floyd is Sting bat number 1.
Barbed wire baseball bat.
John Mock, yeah.
Just ask Alexa. I'm sure she'll tell you.
I don't have an Alexa.
Oh yeah, you got Google.
This is all right. Hold on. No, I've just found a Reddit thread that says baseball bats suck as a weapon in wrestling.
I mean, it would be useful if you could actually take a swing at your opponent's head, but you'd legit kill someone if you did that.
Yeah, very much the same with like the Triple H sledgehammer thing.
Yeah,
it's like the other day when I was talking about the match between Triple H and Undertaker with Shawn Michaels special guest referee. I love that match and I love NXT.
On his top 10 list, go check it out.
Yeah, watch it, you ingrates. I listened to that today, and I was like, my God, I sound like I speak like a politician with a concussion. That's what I genuinely think I sound like.
So Boris Johnson.
With a concussion.
Yeah. No, the man is always concussed. Have you seen him?
I think Boris Johnson is beyond politician at this point and is just like a frog that got very hastily turned into a man, doesn't quite know what to do with itself.
That's actually very fitting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I just sound like
oh, you sound lovely. Don't be silly.
I sound like Michael Gove got hit in the head with a steel chair. Speaking of steel chairs or weapons in wrestling,
did you find any more bats?
Dusty Rhodes once got stripped of the United States title because he accidentally hit Jim Crockett with a baseball bat. And do you also remember the time that Sting tried to catch the bat and Kurt Angle just cracked him on the head?
I think I vaguely was that the TNA run.
I think so.
It must have been. I remember Scott Steiner beating up. Is it like an inflatable duck with a bat?
Do you remember the recent one with Sammy Callahan?
No.
No? Oh, I forget who it was to, but Sammy, I think it was supposed to be a spot where he hits the chair like that's on the guy's neck, right? And the chair just kind of goes, bink, moves out the way, and he just cracks him right on the floor. I forget who it was to, but I'm pretty sure it was like a broken orbital bone and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It was
surprised.
Yeah.
Again, it's like baseball bats. When the British guys bring a cricket bat out, the Triple H sledgehammer thing, it's like, I understand, like, we're supposed to think, oh, these are like, you know, incredibly deadly weapons, but it's like, but we all know you can't use them properly, so it just kind of takes the threat away. It's like the cricket bat. If you had, you can have any kind of weapon, right? You could have a little knife like this. This is just a little bendy plastic one. But the thing is, much like with a baseball bat or a sledgehammer, if you're Triple H, they'd come in like this and go, yeah. And it's put
like,
the hand on the end, just push it in.
I just know that if someone like who runs around with swords, Drew McIntyre, one of these days, he's gonna hold the end of his bloody claymore and he's gonna be like, Well,
I mean, at Elimination Chamber was the closest he actually had to, like, he got it out and held it up and then did the claymore, and I was like, you know, you could have just stabbed him, right? Match over.
Imagine fucking Luke Skywalker being like,
hand goes all the way through.
I was trying to protect you. You were meant to sell it. One of my favorite things that we used to do at the flat, and which is why, because the live wrestling show I went to for my birthday at the Hobbit in Southampton, there was a hardcore match where this was used, and I don't know why it's not used more often in wrestling worldwide, and that is the beautiful, underappreciated baking tray.
Oh, baking trays are the best.
They make he brought it out from under the ring. Instant pop from me, because Garrett knows we just around the flat we'll just clonk each other around the head with a baking tray. Doesn't hurt. We know it doesn't hurt, but it sounds sick because the guy just turned around and went pong, like right to his head, hit the sweet spot right in the forehead. No harm done. Perfect.
Exactly.
See, this is why I think an underrated type of like hardcore matches is the fans bring the weapons match, because that's when you will see some interesting stuff brought. Like, I'm
gonna pitch that. I'm gonna pitch that to Reach, and I'm gonna
be seriously.
Like, can we do at my Unit 10 live debut? Can we please do a fans bring the weapons match? And I'll just ask you guys to bring like something mental, something like some sugar glass bottle or something.
Ospreay and Havoc have a good one in progress, and some fan had actually brought like a grandfather clock. They brought that on the tube to the ballroom and into the ballroom for that match.
Through Camden, of all places.
Yeah, right.
There was in this same hardcore match, because one of their gimmicks was the hacker, as in like keyboards and such. He brought a keyboard down to the ring, also a very good instrument, because if you hit some with it, keys go everywhere. So that's like DIY thumbtacks post.
Was it like an actual hacker gimmick? It wasn't like Mad Kurt or something, was it?
Maybe.
Was he wearing a cape when he came to the ring?
No.
Okay,
I believe it was a hoodie. But yeah, he did bring a keyboard to the ring, smack the guy with it, and also brought more keyboards in so he can powerbomb them onto more keyboards. It was great. That's also a very good weapon that I think more hardcore wrestlers should use.
Yeah, instead of the bag of thumbtacks, just a bag of like keys. That would be great.
See, See, when it comes to a weapon, you want something that is going to look cool as you're hitting them with it. Like how with guitars, they get the cheapest one, but then fill it with like talcum powder so it explodes and there's a clear cloud of smoke. I always thought it would be great. All the keys flying over would be awesome. Yeah. I always thought a good spot that would be, given that like to bring out the thumbtacks every match, is like, you know, the bag it comes in. Like if someone had like like worked it to the point that the first hit is you hitting someone across the head with it, so it just bursts open everywhere. I always thought that would look cool, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that.
Well,
What was it you
that's
said?
a whole.
I cut out for me for a second. What was it?
Okay, so you know when people bring out the thumbtacks in the bag kind of thing?
Yeah.
I always thought a cool spot to start that with, rather than just tipping it out, because people know what the bag is and what's going to be in it. Just hitting someone over the head with it and having it explode with thumbtacks going everywhere. That'd be a cool way to introduce that to a match, I think. I don't think I've ever seen that spot done.
Well, that's the whole thing with like. That's the reason why like light tubes and stuff get over, and like sugar glass stuff, because the impact is sight to behold. There's a sound to go with it, and that shatter effect is also perfect. And light tubes have that special like muted bang that they make when they break, and of course the pitter patter of broken glass on the floor. Like I think that can be achieved with a lot of stuff that's a little more safe than light tubes.
For sure.
The keyboard was my example.
I feel like that's why things like that are a bit more popular now. Because back in the day, a steel chair shot would have done the trick, but and rightfully so, they can't do headshots anymore. They've lost a bit of the luster with the whole midsection to back. Whereas if you watch WWE from the 90s and someone gets cracked over the head, it still looks pretty damn devastating. But rightfully so, they shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point where, like, let's be honest, headshots were more rampant than people do super kicks now.
Yeah. Basically, every week on WWE, someone would get a chair shot to the head.
Yeah. What will we put? What is our thumbtack replacement? And you can't say Legos because Legos has been done and it's really good.
Yeah.
I would wait enough time, and then I'd roll out my bag, and it's just a bunch of COVID tests, just to give make everyone remember,
rip off.
And then when you get slammed on it, I then pick one up, and it's positive, so the rest of the match is me running away from him. Because like him being slammed and spitting on one has done that, so I have to put on a mask.
I'd rip off Home Alone and just get like a bag full of micro machines.
Because
then you got something that's like quite nasty to step on, and then you get the whole little Pratt slip thing because wheels.
I would go almost quite a classic route because a lot of people have like a money gimmick. You got Okada, Young Bucks, and Shane McMahon who always bring out the notes. I say there's something about money that they're underappreciating. That's coins. So you get a big sock full of copper, and then make it look like you're going to hit him with that, and be like, no, just pour it out all over the ring. Instantly, steel surface that's it's like. The word escapes me, but not smooth.
See, I'm thinking, right? After you've done that run for a while, I come in as my gimmick is guy that is slightly richer than you, and I pour it out, and it's just loads of like credit cards. This is a Tesco club card, but you get what I mean.
Oh no! Please do like membership cards and like coupon cards and stuff like that.
Because that would be a really hard thing to like do props for. Because you could get fake money, but fake credit cards, I don't know. It feels like that would probably be more expensive or a bit weird. You'd have to get like, because you'd want it to be like like platinum fucking Amex cards and stuff. But it's like really, it'd be like your debit card would probably be in there, and then after the match, you'd be like, all right, no one, hold on, whose oyster was this one?
Where's my library card?
Yeah. So I swear I had a staff ID card in here. Oh, it's sort of broken and blurred.
Where's my super drug card? I've got enough for a meal deal on that.
I'd go to CEX and I'd buy like 30 iPhone 4s, and then I'd pour them out.
Just be very conspicuous as you're paying for them. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to do it just by beeping, so you can just charge it £100 every time. You know.
Well, I mean, how much is an iPhone? How much is an iPhone 4 these days?
Well, how many did you say you were gonna buy?
4.
A
30.
bag's worth. How much do you reckon constitutes a bag's worth?
You could get an iPhone 4 for a tenner. How much is it?
Okay.
Spend 250 quid on that, and you got a thumbtack spot. They're waiting. That's sorted.
Oh wow, they're still like expensive CX. Okay.
Another one that I think would hurt a lot would be sand. Now,
Yeah.
hear me out, because it's well and truly all right if it's on a beach, sure, but sand on hard surfaces, the friction is just awful.
I would be the second you slam someone, I would be on commentary and be like, "That's a million billion little rocks right in his back."
Yeah, because when they get slammed down, like the sand around them will go up, and it will look almost sort of like an explosive sort of impact, you know. Yeah.
All right, you've rolled out. Yeah, you're a heel. The face is there, selling in the ring, and you look under the little apron. You look under the apron. What's the weapon that you've hidden there?
A rake.
A rake?
Like one of those ones that you pull leaves with.
A proper Sideshow Bob one?
Yes. So what I do is, whilst they're lying down, I set the rake up so it's head facing their like leading foot. I'll leave it there, stand in the turnbuckle, wait for them to get up until inevitably, well, you know the rest.
Dude, if someone came up to me and was like, "All right, finish it. You walk into a rake." I wouldn't remember any spots from that match. I would be just like, I can't wait to feed up and walk into a fucking rake. I would get told off because they'd be like, "You didn't protect your head," and I'd be like, "I'm an artist." Like, you know, if it's gonna happen, like, it's gonna happen.
He's gonna put that rake over.
I could have everyone else could have a match with a rake to a 5-star, a match with a broom to a 5-star match. Me and a rake, we're going far.
Gonna shatter the Meltzer scale.
Now,
Greg, what would you find under the apron?
Whoa, good question.
Anything but any like household object behind you?
Let's have a look. My X-Files poster. I'll have that. Whoops.
I would get a figure of myself. Mint in. No, I get a figure of my opponent, mint in box, right? And then while they're selling on the floor, I'd put a Sharpie in their hand and make them sign it. And then in front of everyone, with a signed edition of like their thing, I'd just rip it apart.
Oh my god!
That sounds like
imagine.
That sounds like my perfect gimmick. So essentially, if I get into wrestling, I'm just there because I want to meet my heroes. So every match, I'm just like, "Hello, sir. Can I have your autograph?"
The worst part is, right, in this scenario, he's probably my manager, so I'm gonna be like doing my entrance, and you're like, "Oh fuck, you're wrestling fucking Ilya Dragunov."
Hello, Mr. Ilya, sir. Big fan.
I was waiting at the merch table. I was waiting at the merch table. You didn't come out, but I've just been waiting for this opportunity.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, I think like a question I did want to ask today is, what is something that used to be quite prominent back in the day in wrestling that has since kind of like not necessarily gone, or in some cases it may have, that you would like to see come back, that you feel like could have a resurgence? Because I think managers is one of the top things for me. You don't see enough managers anymore.
So I didn't think you were going to say, "Do you want to see come back?" So I was about to say, like, what's something you don't see anymore? And then I was going to say sexual harassment. and then you said, would you like to see come back? So not that.
I could tell
Yeah,
you were
not
ready
that.
to say something. I was like, "Oh, Garrett's got some kind of sentimental insight of the good old
However,
days."
it is
You
also
just
still
see the
rampant
process.
in wrestling anyway. So whatever.
Oh,
What would I like to see come back? Stone Cold Steve Austin at this year's WrestleMania.
I was going to say, you don't want to see that. We had a long conversation about that.
But, right, here's the thing. If
But
he's
no,
happy
managers.
to do it, if he's happy to come back, and he's well and good and he's fit, fine. The thing is, you could do a match with Stone Cold and he never has to bump.
No, that's what I
Like,
said.
you could do a
Just
match with Stone
brawl.
Cold,
That's all you need.
won't have to bump. He could just take the knees when he takes a stunner from Kevin. Although it's WWE, so Stone Cold will probably go over. But yeah, genuinely though, managers is definitely something. It's something that's been happening in AEW, and it just works.
Yeah.
Like managers and stables are like interconnectedness in wrestling. Heels just like being mates with heels, faces just being mates with faces, and just helping each other out. Like Punk just was like, yeah, I'm teaming with Dean, just because.
Just because
Dean, I just fucking said Dean. Wow. I'm making some friends today with John Moxley. Jesus.
I agree. Because managers for me, like, especially when you look back at like the old sort of WWF in the 80s, like I feel like AW is good with the managers, but you just don't have many that are like proper characters. Like the one that comes to mind from today would obviously be Malcolm Bivens, for example.
Sure.
I think more along those lines,
his,
like Bobby
you seen what he
Heenan.
did the other day?
No.
He came out with a towel that was the John Cena towel. The like, what does John Cena towel say?
Never give up.
It was like never give up, and then he turned it over. It was like, nah, you should. And it was, so good. It was so good.
I still can't get over the Dakota Kai video he posted on Twitter like a few months back.
Yeah. The bust it down one or whatever.
Yeah.
Who else who's been a great manager in like the past? I mean, obviously you've got your big ones, who probably go down as the greatest manager of all time. It's Paul Heyman. We don't need to talk about that because you can talk about that forever. People who I think are underrated in the recent era. I think people who put in the most amount of work is people like Drake Maverick, who with just any gimmick he could, to the point where he would piss himself if he was asked to.
Was about to say,
yeah,
actually pissed his pants on live TV. That's commitment,
and then not only does that, but then comes back and has one of the most compelling stories, and then gets fired, and then apparently gets rehired a couple days ago.
Yeah,
supposedly he's back with the dub, but not in a wrestling role.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's happy in that role. That sure. Who else has been a really good manager? I think Sting has been a great manager role for Darby. They're really good at making him sort of feel legitimate.
Dan Lambert.
I was about to say Dan Lambert. Yeah. Great promo on him.
I wasn't in it on the start. And I'm like, when he came in with like Masvidal and people like that, I was like, okay, all right. And then Masvidal hits his I guess signature knee because he knocked Askren out with it, and then doesn't come back. And I'm like, I'm not sure about this, but no, he's really good. He's really good.
Yeah. I'd also say, why is now the time to forget his name? Managed Omega.
Don Callis. Don
Callis, yes.
Don Callis has been an absolute shitheel for a while, and it's great. He's doing a good job. I think he's doing a really good job at that.
Even though she's a great wrestling talent, Selena Vega when she managed Andrade.
Zelina was good. Another person to manage the Authors of Pain, Ellering, was great. Ellering was absolutely great at that. It just brings some legitimacy to it. He is legit. I think Arn managing Cody with his fucking what's it called? The Glock is good, but I think his fucking American football style,
like stat sheet and stuff. Yeah,
hiding what he's saying and stuff. Good shit, real good shit. As if because that's what you do. Like if your opponent's corner is saying something, you're listening in. Like that's why they cover their mouths in the NFL and shit like that. Good shit, subtle shit. Makes him sort of stand out from something else. It makes it seem a little bit more legitimate as a sport as well. Who else has been good as a manager? I'm trying to think about people in New Japan. Rocky Romero does some good managing stuff over there for like Show and Yo and
what about
people like that.
Gedo when he was with Okada? He's with Jay White now, isn't he?
Yeah, so he turned on Okada and then went with Jay. Yeah, he's all right. He's okay. I think it's a good way of perhaps helping Jay get over as a heel with the crowd. Although Jay is just like leaps and bounds. You know the story of like Jay White, how he's not really been wrestling that long at all.
No, I know. I remember he's been with New Japan most. Like, didn't he go to the dojos? Because you see him as a young boy in matches, don't you, at ringside?
Yeah, so he was at like WrestleMania, I want to say like 27 or 26. Before that, he didn't. I don't think he'd ever really watched it. I think he went with a mate or something, watched it, and he was like, "Yeah, right, I'll do that," and then just went and did it, and became that. Became the fucking New Japan Grand Slam champ, holding every title that you can.
Is he the only one to do that as well? They only have a Grand Slam.
I think so. I want to say
that's what they hyped it up on AEW. The only ever Grand Slam.
I mean, Tanahashi's held the US. He just dropped it to Sonata. He's held the Never. Yeah, he's held the Never Openweight, hasn't he? He's obviously held the other two.
You're the New Japan guy.
But then you can't actually hold the Intercontinental anymore. So, there you go. And soon enough in WWE, you won't be able to hold the. Which one are they going to get rid of? The Universal or the WWE, or are they not?
I don't think they will, but I had this conversation with Oliver. If they were to consolidate the belts, I hope that would mean they're going to bring out a new design and get rid of the crappy, boring-ass faceplate.
They won't. They absolutely will not. They'll just go from like
no,
a red
because it's
to...
it feels like they're at the epitome of what they can design. Like they'll just make the W bigger at this point. Like it's not. It has to be their logo, right? It's the brand. They can't, unless they change the WWE logo, they will not change that belt to anything lesser than a big W.
They make it spin.
Honestly,
it spin.
I used to hate the spinner, but I will take it over this belt because at least it had something interesting to look at.
I don't know if it's controversial, but I never hated the spinner. Not once in my life have I ever hated the spinner.
Me neither.
Never.
Me honestly neither. People will mistake this for sarcasm. I'm being deadly serious.
Dead like to my heart. I really like the spinner.
Serial.
Cool. Not my favorite of all time. My favorite was the last IWGP Championship. However, even as a kid, I was like, "Oh, that spinner is so fucking cool." And then I grew up and I was like, "Wow, that spinner is so fucking cool."
Well, I was talking to Greg about this the other day, about the fact that when I was watching this as a kid, of course, I was watching Doctor of Thugonomics Cena with the spinny belt, and I was like, that's so cool. And talking about action figures earlier unlocked a little memory, because when I was a kid also, I used to bring my wrestling figures around my mate's house, who also had a bunch of wrestling figures, and he had a ring. So we'd take him around, and I remember him getting Cena with spinny belt, but the actual belt not being able to spin, the tiny one. And I remember being so upset.
I'd leave.
So upset.
I'd leave the house.
I believe certain figure versions of the belt did. I remember I had the US one, the first spinner. That one
Yeah.
did, but it wasn't like you could just make it go for it. You just had to keep twisting it with your fingers. it kind of spun, but you just had to keep doing it. You couldn't just go, wee.
Of course, as a kid, you wouldn't know what WD-40 would be at all, so it wouldn't help in any way.
Can you WD-40 plastic on plastic?
WWD40.
Sounding like Kurt Angle right now. Jesus, putting double W's everywhere.
Hey Scott,
yes.
your wrestling figure is coming out next week. What's in the box? What's your little diorama? What's your thing? What did you come with?
Let's start with attire, because I think that's important. Right, I'm going to go for Scott Archer late 2021 hair, where it's short on the sides, real long down to about here on one side. I think that will look good on a figure. It's got to be done, and I miss that hair a lot. Then, I'm thinking of vest, into some dark trousers, in some dress shoes. The weapon, of course, would be the rake. As I mentioned earlier, it has to be done. And the title in particular is the Bhutan States Championship from the Dwell Network days. And that's my whole thing. And also you can I come with 6 different hats.
Nice.
What they are is randomized in every box.
None of them fit.
Yeah.
They're all way too small.
I would probably I'd come with like alternate shirts, all of them with my face on it. Maybe one would be like slightly ripped up, but like just enough so you can see the abs. My character would also have incredible abs. I basically just take the torso from a Finn Balor figure and then just like stick my arms on that. So they probably come up to like here. I would like make sure it's hairy as well. I'd be like, no, like actual like horse hair or something, like real hair coming out, like so that you could like brush the chest hair and everything.
Yeah,
you know, like it's got to happen. It's got to happen. I'd obviously come with a Dweller's Cup belt, and then you know, like those superhero figures that like come with a they're like part of a set, so you collect them all, and they each come with a bit for a big one.
Yeah, build a figure.
I would come. There would be a big like robot-y metal arm in it. That's like just a huge, cool looking arm. But that's it. There's no others to collect. I make people think that you could like build a bigger one, but I just come with a big like Gundam arm, just because. Me sitting there with a Pacific Rim arm next to me.
I think mine would essentially just be I'd again go with Scott and have my long curly hair back. I would essentially just look like, you know, the knockoff Poundland wrestling figures. It'd be like the knockoff Poundland Cactus Jack. Basically, like the same as him.
The packaging is like just as beautiful and amazing as ours, but your character is like specifically like the worst plastic,
yeah.
And just like a little bit more rubbery. Doesn't have any moving joints.
Like, no removable like shirt or anything. It's all just molded onto it, you know.
Yeah, same color plastic as well.
Yeah,
you're just blue.
Yeah,
you're just there.
You can see like how it's blended as well. It's like a little bit too smooth going into like from jacket to t-shirt.
Comes with like the most random accessories that you would get those as well, like a chainsaw, because you know you're allowed a chainsaw in wrestling. A ladder that is like smaller than the figure, because you know dangerous heights there.
Yeah, it would be whatever the person in like whatever country made this Googled. They like Googled wrestling and then like things in wrestling. So it would be like a trash can or whatever time they Googled it. So like
like a guardrail, just a random bit of guardrail.
Yeah, a bit of guardrail.
A pickaxe, an anchor.
Yeah, basically.
An M16.
A lightsaber. Which made little to no sense.
The like the card around it, where like because you're like plasticed on, the card around it would have like Batman and Iron Man and Hulk Hogan on it. None of the pictures are you there, but you're there.
No. So hang on. So it'd just be like stuff like this. Just
Yes.
really,
Hell
really
yes.
naff cards.
Ah,
I would love to like go and find
Skull Smasher.
the worst figures that we could. Hey, that's
Oh,
a good title
please.
belt, though. That's a good title belt.
Yeah, that one. They basically stole that from Jax. That's the tag title from like the old Jax line.
Yeah.
Classic one. This is the one I posted on our socials. So this is what I was on about. Look, you got like a chainsaw there. I
that
think
meant to
that's
be Kane?
Yeah, so that's like Randy Orton,
Kane, Taker,
Cena.
Cena.
Yeah. Is that a better close up? There you go.
Wow.
Oh yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
chainsaw, dumbbell.
Not even like
supposed to be.
Not even like a ladder that properly falls out. It's like a one you put against the wall, like you're cleaning the windows.
What is that by Taker's leg? Is that supposed to be a mic?
It's like a microphone, but it's got spikes on it.
I thought it was
A
the
mace.
dagger from Cluedo.
Ah, yes, Kane with his famous morning star.
What I love as well, they've given them a crutch, but like it doesn't even go
It's
up to like their shoulder. It's like all the way down here.
A crutch for when they visit children's hospitals.
And a most beautiful image. John Cena in full jeans.
Yeah,
Full
right.
jeans. It's
Full
Gene Cena.
jeans. Oh, what an
What the-
image!
What
that's
the
like a
hell
still-
happened there?
That's Batista. I can tell it's
Yeah.
Batista. But Jesus Christ, a dog has chewed that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it says they
It's-
just bought this wrestling figure from Poundland. I would believe you could get one looking that bad. It's not like
Yeah.
the professionally made. Let's be honest.
Imagine
Yeah.
having a body so small, but pectorals so incredibly large in comparison to the rest of your body.
And a hole.
Well,
in
to be
your
honest,
chest.
like I'd pay £1 for that. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd pay
that's
a
fine with
pound for
me.
that.
This one comes with a Fred Flintstone club.
Collect-
Tiny
collect-
arms.
Collect them all. Collect them all. Them all.
Collect them all. Themel. Collect
Feder-
them all.
Asian.
I like how
Hold
the
on.
stickers-
World Wrestling Entertainment presents Federation Wrestle Boxing product. World
Wrestle
Wrestling
boxing.
Entertainment presents Federation Wrestle Boxing product. Collect them all.
Collect them all.
Who is that
I
supposed
like
to
how-
be?
Oh, on the last one?
who
I
is
think
that
that's just like
supposed to be?
generic mold. I don't think
I
it's meant
think
to be
it's
based on anyone.
Jerry Lawler.
I could
You
buy
see
that.
it? Do you see it? Because
Like a
down
little
there,
bit-
right? You look at the bottom right. They've clearly got a Jake the Snake.
I
They've
don't
got
know
two
that.
people holding snakes.
That kind of looks
Do
a
you
bit
see
like
that?
Mick
They're
Foley
snakes.
to me.
Look at
though.
them. That's a snake.
I said it's a snake, but that looks like Mick Foley to me.
Probably.
I love that the sticker covers up the second half of the word wrestle. So it's like Federation presents Res.
Rez.
Res.
Yeah,
Who else have we got? Is that Sub-Zero?
yeah. I
see.
feel like that one. It's just like
Ninja.
Mortal
it
Kombat.
says.
Yeah.
Oh, not just Ninja, Poundland ninjas.
Powerland Ninjas.
They sound like a crime fighting group.
Someone could have
Tailor-made for
crocodile
England.
head? Poundland
That's
Pirates.
pretty- that's pretty
Go
hype,
ahead. Yeah. There's Ulmo Dragon there. That's at
That's
least
not a
like,
bad
that's
figure.
not
I don't know
terrible.
why. I don't know why he comes with a crutch, a ladder, and a spare boot.
I think that's meant to be like a cast, but it's like all silver. It's
How
a
are
solid
you meant
steel
to get?
cast.
There's no way you can get that on the figure. There's
Oh, hell no.
no way.
So, Zach Gowan. So,
You know what? You know what? Instead of the Gundam arm in mine, I just every box of mine comes with a Zach Gowan leg. I think Scott is frozen.
Scott, are you okay? Zach Gowan figure broke him.
Oh,
Is that? I think
Well,
that's
that's-
going to be The Rock.
It
Anyway.
is. He's got an eye patch. And he's called Lex Legend.
Lex Legend. Oh, hey.
Hello.
Internet shut down because, of course, it did.
That's
Lex
awesome.
Legend. Oh my god! What a time to come back.
Well, he's got like a Brahma bull on him, right? Almost looks like Lesnar's weird demon logo. He's got an eye patch.
And an eye patch. Yeah. I want that.
I honestly, I would buy every single one of these. Greg is collecting nice figures. I would rather collect these. Major Destruction.
Major Destruction.
I
Oh,
think that's just Big Show, really, isn't it? That's just
Yeah, that's must be
Yeah.
Big
well,
Show.
part of him's missing.
where.
You see, there's a big gap in the middle there.
God damn it, Scott.
I'm back. Back on the podcast, baby.
Back.
I'm better than ever.
Prince of Fear.
I think that's Abyss crossed with The Undertaker.
Cross with Kane.
Yeah. Ah, but what a fun trip down Poundland Wrestlers.
Okay. Book it, Garrett. The main event of Poundland Wrestlers WrestleMania.
Well, I haven't got a big budget. A pound, in fact. So, am I doing this as if these people were real people?
Yes.
The Poundland
All right,
Wrestling
well-
Federation.
All right, so I get there. I set up the ring. I've only got 3 ring posts, and I'm hiring Greg to stand as the 4th ring post. He just kind of it does this, and I like oh yeah, cool, tie that one there, and then I just tie one in his belt loop.
All I can picture now
Major-
is someone goes into the ropes and then basically, because I've got no weight to me, I just go with them every time. Someone goes to rebound
People will
round
pop.
shit.
People will pop like, oh, they've broken down the ring.
Again.
Because I'll paint you like entirely like red, like all the other ring posts, right?
No, put me in
Or
a
no,
mauve suit.
Poundland green, Poundland sickly green,
A
yeah,
Poundland mauve
with
suit.
golden pound ropes, all painted by me, still dripping during the match. Because I decided to paint them while I set up the ring, so it's up there, just dripping down to the floor. So when they get up to like scrape their feet, they just get like yellow on their boots. Anyway, the main event is Major Destruction versus Lex Legend.
Oh,
Now the
Nice.
problem is Lex Legend notoriously doesn't arrive until his match is on. So I'm talking to Major Destruction, and I'm trying to be like, what's going on? How's that? Who's going over? Like, what's I think you should go over Major Destruction. He says, no, we'll just wing it. We'll do it on the fly. We'll just wing it. And I'm like, all right. Lex Legend doesn't show up, and Major Destruction puts on a match with you, Scott. I'm booking you against Major Destruction.
but it's Poundland, Scott. So it's just
It's
way
Poundland Scott. It's it's Steve Archibald.
Steve Bowman.
Steve Bowman. Instead of Scott Archer, it's Steve Bowman.
Yeah, and I come out in a singlet that's really, really tight. Like it looks like it's painted onto my skin. Of course, as is Major Destructions as well, of course.
Well, you come out first. Your music doesn't play, and instead I accidentally play Foundations by that woman from the noughties.
Yeah, after 2 YouTube ads.
After 2 YouTube ads.
So
and I don't hit the skip button. I could have hit the skip button, but I don't because I don't know how.
So I've continued down this rabbit hole of essentially knockoff wrestling figures, and I found something a little bit interesting.
Feel free to save us from this match.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just I don't know if you see that well, but just
Ooh,
look at the picture. But look at the eyes on it. They've like I don't know if you can see that very well. It's like
They're like kind of cross-eyed.
It's like the Benoit picture, but they've like stuck eyes on top of it. Just to be like,
I will say the
"Show
ladder is
him."
better there. That's a better ladder.
It's like a ladder. It's like a ladder going up to an attic. That's
Yeah. Lance Storm.
That's basically Lance Storm.
That like of any of them, that is 100% Lance Storm.
Yeah, I like the attire. I like the trunks.
See that one?
Again,
right.
their pectorals are huge.
Look at how fucking big Ray is. Why is Ray taller than Edge?
Taller than Batista.
They've got the same. That's the exact same. Chainsaw, crutch, everything.
Basically, same accessories. They just swap the figures out. And
Same,
there was
same dagger from Cluedo.
it's gone. There was another set I wanted to show you where there was one there was like a bloody. Oh, there it is. So this one comes with like I guess is meant to be like a bloody figure there because it goes like on into his shirt. Then there's like one there where it looks like he just hasn't really got a face painted in. And then I think this is the blue meanie.
Yeah, no, he looks a bit like Johnny Cage, actually, the guy on the left.
So is that meant to be male Lara Croft?
Which one?
Brock Lesnar, if he put his face in flour, and Kane, if he loves his missus every day of the month.
There's no mic for me to facepalm against, so I'm gonna have to. Oh God!
That one on the left is definitely wearing like classic Lara Croft get up, right? Look at how like skin tight that is.
Yeah, so like same top, same shorts. Yeah,
That is a Lara Croft stunt double for the wide shots. That's what that is.
Lots of dumbbells as well. I'm noticing a lot of dumbbells in these.
another chainsaw.
Another chainsaw
Classic.
got to be done. Another crutch, but this time it's life size.
See, that one fits. There you go.
Yeah, that one.
Guy gets hurt.
I think actually that may be too big.
She's like
Like
taller
just,
than
I
them.
think that might be too big.
Okay, good.
We design these. Also, what's the brand it said at the top there? Was it Boxing King Federation as well?
I think so. It's just slightly cut out. Let me see if I can find.
Do they do figures of like Mayweather and Wilder and people like that? Are there? Can I get a Gypsy
Like
King
Amir Khan?
figure?
I'd get an Amir
Yeah.
Khan one. Amir Khan seems like a sound guy.
Certain toy lines that especially cater to adults will make them, but it's not like how you get like a new series with the WWE ones every month or two, where it's like a different box for every series. Like they're very rare, I'd say. You can consider get ones of like Ali and Tyson and stuff like that.
Yeah,
The YouTube boxing generation should jump on that.
absolutely.
Just announced for the Control Your Narrative promotion, Austin Aries has just been announced.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Should I be putting my foot in it as I'm beginning the business? Yeah, because I don't want to work there.
It's not shaping up well, is it?
No.
A lot of people seemingly going to work for them that I'm a bit like, really? Did you really want to bring them in?
I mean, have you guys? This is another weird bit of news. It is someone who, if he hasn't joined Control Your Narrative yet, he probably will. Ento Amore got randomly swole.
Yeah,
Have you
he
seen
got quite
right.
jacked, didn't he?
He has a very good pump on at the gym. All right. Like
Arguably more small than Cass. I'd say easily. I'd say from the picture I've seen, and I understand that pictures can be edited, although I wouldn't understand why this one would be.
It's not edited. He has real good gym lighting, and he's got a proper pump on for sure. Like, look, you know,
I love his
He's
tiny
holding it in. Look at that face.
His
This guy
tiny...
where's the
flexing.
pump? Yeah, of course he's flexing. He's just worked out. He's got a fucking pump on. Like, he's never been out of shape. To be fair, he's always been pretty ripped.
I mean, when you look at him, oh, that's horrible. Well, if you look at him there, and then with like that, he's definitely
even
put on some
there,
muscle.
yeah, even there, he was never like properly out of shape. Really,
Yeah.
he wasn't like schlubby or anything. I don't know whether come show day he'd look that jacked. It's very difficult to look.
Well, I remember seeing that picture on
post-workout
Instagram
pump.
where he's like still trying to like make it, like I'm very jacked now,
Oh, a Supreme armband. Oh, that's
Just when you couldn't be
that
any more of a
stinks.
douche.
That stinks.
He's probably face. I think when he worked like the Qatar shows and stuff, he works face. So, I mean, kids love Enzo, and yeah. Hell, one WrestleMania when we all did the video, I did an Enzo shtick the whole time.
I know it used to be entertaining, and then yeah, I don't know, just kind of got sick of it. It was a one-note act basically after that. That like from like the thing, it got old after a year or two.
They could still go though. Was it the Revival FTR that they had a match with that was really good, or was it someone else? Might have been American Alpha or someone. They had a really, really good NXT TakeOver tag team match, I remember, and it was NXT TakeOver London when Enzo Amore said, "If I had £1 for every time la di da," and the crowd went the crowd were going nuts for them. That was a whole nah big Cass thing. Came out as well. They were very over.
The thing is, right? They never really had to be that good in the ring. I don't think. I think that all of their matches need to be is Enzo getting the shit kicked out of him and trying to get the hot tag. The heel stopping the hot tag for fucking 5 minutes. And then finally, he gets in, does a bit of stuff, fucking air Enzo or whatever it is, pin 1, 2, 3. That's all it ever needed to be. I don't think they ever. Sure, it would have been nice if they put on a Revival American Alpha Classic, but I just don't think that was never really their shtick, and they got over as fuck to the point where they were pushed to the main roster before any other tag team was.
For sure.
Did it work out? Not really.
No,
I think it definitely did for Enzo. I mean, while 205 Live was still kind of being pushed as a thing, and now it's NXT Level Up. But while it was still kind of a thing, he dominated that space for a while. I think that was probably their biggest mistake is, like we just said, or like I just said, it never needed to be about work rate with them. And then they went and made a brand all about work rate. Just all about like athleticism and putting on ridiculous Meltzer, Beatty 6-star matches. Which I say that like it's a bad thing. And then you go and look at like anything Cedric, Mustafa Ali, Buddy Matthews, any of them did. And it's like, oh, oof, mwah. But you went and put him on the wrong brand. He was made for Raw. He was made for Raw.
Yeah. And Raw was made for him. Like they were a match made in heaven almost. Especially now with the... this is another thing I've said before. And sometimes... it can feel like an echo chamber talking about WWE, but like people don't talk like this. People like I listened to a promo, say like a 5-minute promo by someone who I know can be good outside of scripting, Drew McIntyre, right? He'd say these cookie cutter phrases. I'm doing good down here in hometown. I'm It just here to call out so and so. So if you're not a chicken, you best come down to the ring, so we can settle this like men. And then nothing happens, and then heel comes out, and well, I am villain, and yeah, it's every Raw. It's every Raw, and like I said, people don't talk like this. You can't build conflict like this every single time. I can go on, but I'll leave it there.
No, I get what you mean, Scott. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I even lost the initial point I was trying to make.
How did I get here?
How did I get to this point every time? Enzo Amore, that's it. So, like, yeah, Enzo Amore is the kind of person who can make that promo kind of seem fresh every time because he's a wordsmith, and that's kind of what he does. But yeah, Raw was just like, nope, cruiserweights division, I guess. Yeah.
They had no idea what they were doing in that division for a long while. They'd put on one of the greatest matches I've ever seen, like Murphy against Ali. Especially their match at Super Showdown in Australia, the same show that I think the Iconics won at. Great show that was. I might actually go back and watch that and see if I'm fucking speaking out my ass. But yeah, put on a match like that or anything Cedric Alexander did. And then they were like, nah, you know what we need? We need Goldust. We need Goldust to be a cruiserweight. So they put Goldust on 205 Live. And I just don't understand. Just put on matches and just do wrestling.
Again, this 205 Live, I'm pretty sure, was a Triple H creation originally. And then what happens is Vince and the rest of his people get their hands on it. And it's just like, you've just ruined it. Like, could have been great. I mean, because it started off so well. I mean, the Cruiserweight Classic, basically every episode of that was just must-watch wrestling for, like, as far as I was concerned.
They had Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. in.
Right.
Which is insane. That's so mental.
Do you remember who won of that crop?
TJP.
TJP.
Guy was meant to be, like, the future. And
he
fizzled out
dabs.
pretty quickly. He dabs.
They saw that he dabs, and they were like, that's his gimmick. Next.
They gave him that 8-bit music as well, didn't they?
I was going to say, had the whole video game thing going. Was it the first Cruiserweight Classic where the whole, sort of Ciampa and Gargano sort of made themselves quite known as well?
Yeah,
so.
It was like the first, like...
They had the match on it, and then after that, they were DIY in, obviously, NXT, and became, like, basically the whole reason to watch NXT. It was great.
Yeah. Oh. I'm going to have to go back and watch like highlights of this tournament. There's a really good match. I think, Greg, you because I wasn't going to watch it. And then, Greg, you told me about this. It's a match between, I think, Raul Mendoza and, was it Ibushi? Where
Might
it's
have
like
been, yeah.
Yeah, it's like because I was like, okay, I'll watch this. And there's this insane spot with loads of flips. I need to go back and watch this. But you told me to watch it, and I was like stunned because this was like the first round or the second round. And yeah, and then the Mae Young Classic was also great as well. WWE
can book a good tournament when they want to, but when it comes to doing it on the main roster, it's just kind of like, what is purpose?
Yeah,
can't even tell you the King of the Ring stuff.
The UK tournament. The UK tournament was great as well.
UK tournament was great. Just basically any tournament that's run by Triple H under NXT stuff was spot on. It was great. They knew how to book it. It was like exciting TV all the time, must watch. And then on the main roster, it's like, I don't care.
I think the biggest problem with me is that there's no follow through. When you do a tournament, or you do a rumble, or you do anything with a shit ton of dudes in it, you've just given yourself a crossover episode. You've given yourself an Avengers Infinity War, right? Where all of these stories can begin. Some of them can end right there, but you can also be like, oh shit, these two got a reaction, or these two can tell a story now, and then later down the line they can have a program going forward. And nothing happens in these tournaments. Like Xavier Woods gets King of the Ring, and then
He wins
he's not in any
a
title
gimmick.
pictures or anything.
Well, this is
They get that, and they bring out a king that was somewhat successful, and then nothing happens. And then they give him back Big E as well.
I think as well, it's just the fact like King of the Ring used to be a yearly event. It used to be one of their pay-per-views, and then now it's something they only bring out every so often now, like every couple of years.
Well, what was the one before? Before it was Barrett, right?
It was Baron, wasn't it? Was that how
Oh,
Baron
yeah, of
became
course it
King
was
Corbin?
Baron.
Yeah. I think
Sorry,
as well. What
He
you
goes through. He goes through
on...
so many different prefixes. Corbin now. You know what? It's happy. It was sad. Next, it will be.
It was King. It was Baron.
Yeah, manic depressive Corbin.
I think if you wanted to have it legitimacy, you'd bring it back and then have it, because what they did in the 80s as well when it was first a thing is people could actually challenge for the crown and scepter, and then they would become the new king essentially. That's how people like Macho Man became King Macho Man. He didn't win a King of the Ring; he won it off one of the other wrestlers who'd won it. Same with King Haku and Harley Race. So yeah, at least that would be something with it, rather than okay, this guy's just the king now, and we just have to deal with it. Gonna have
It
the
kind of
same
be
royal
like the
shtick.
FTW Championship or something, like in AEW, where it's just like, it's our title, but you can compete for it if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, why not? Title should just be defended. It doesn't matter if it's like the main title on the show. How many other titles now have been defended on AEW television? NWA titles have been defended on there. Have any others? Obviously, FTW.
Impact, possibly, with the Impact tag
Was
titles
it defended?
Might have been defended, I think, with the Good Brothers. I want to say it was.
Yeah, maybe.
And also Christian winning off of Kenny Omega as well.
That was it. Yeah, he won the Impact title. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
There's been was there, and prove me if I'm wrong, like NJPW US title, was there a defense of that, or am I being crazy?
Lance Archer. And, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that where Archer won it again?
I
Yeah,
think
it was.
so.
Archer
yeah.
won it off Mox. Yeah.
So they've had loads of titles come through. Loads of them.
Mm.
Forbidden Doors and all that.
Speaking of Forbidden Doors, are we getting a big Tony Khan happy reveal today?
Well, he said isn't that the big thing? He said he's been in meetings regarding wanting to make this huge announcement, so trying to make something happen. We've just got no idea of what it is, and if he is allowed to do it, when he'll announce it. Maybe
usually, if it's
tonight.
a signing of some kind, we would hear something by now.
I have a theory.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's got theory.
I know how these have never turned out well.
Okay, let me get ready. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. And if I'm right, I'm gonna buy a new camera because now I have myself full screened. I look grainy as hell. So I'm going to then next Bearhug Club episode. I'm going to treat myself, splash the cash, and you get to see me in high definition. I'm predicting it now. The thing that he comes out and announces is a WrestleMania caliber, maybe not WrestleMania, SummerSlam caliber arena show. A big one.
What, like they've kind of done with Grand Slam before?
Mm-hmm. Like we can do this level. At Double or Nothing, we are selling out 55,000 tickets or something stupid like that.
Could be something like we're gonna do Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah.
Could be MSG, especially because WWE are fucking scrambling for their MSG show.
Yeah.
It's doing shit, so they're like, Brock's on it.
Please watch.
Goldberg, please.
Or they're going abroad for the first time.
Ooh. UK show. UK show.
Possibly
UK show.
Japan as well. They could head to Japan. That could be a good shout.
I don't think they'll head to Japan.
What about like if they did just to do like a joint card with New Japan?
If they did a joint card with New Japan, it would do well. I don't think they'd
Run their own, basically.
No, they wouldn't run
No.
their own. No.
No.
But they'd definitely go and give people over to New Japan. I don't really know if they'd hold it in Japan. They'd probably just do it in the States, especially because New Japan are trying to big up their New Japan Strong side.
Imagine if the
Saudi
announcement
Arabia
was just
show.
Cody coming back.
We've signed this amazing free agent.
I feel like maybe that would be the first time I'd be like, I'm content skipping Dynamite this week.
Yeah, yeah. For all that teasing. I mean, at the same time, they can't help it if this has been a legit thing, and then all of a sudden they do reach an agreement after all the goodbyes have been said. But I doubt that. I think we're more likely to see Cody appear on WWE before he's on AEW again. You never know what could happen. Wrestling's crazy this way.
Or change the narrative wrestling.
New partnership with them.
Yes. He's changed the narrative, you could say.
Changed the all elite narrative.
And you hear it first. We're gonna have Cody Rhodes versus Austin Aries. Braun. Who else?
Lance Archer versus the artist formerly known as Braun Strowman.
Adam Scher
or Titan. Or EC3 versus. Have they signed any women yet to change the narrative wrestling?
Have they got a roster page? Let's find this.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
No, Scott, they're trying to change the narrative, not continue like what's going on right now. Changes backwards.
Let's have a look.
Let's have a look and see what their roster says.
Free the narrative. Okay.
So we know about EC3, we know about Adam Scher, Titan Strowman, Braun, and we know about Austin Aries, and we know about Cody Rhodes, and we know about Brandy Rhodes.
Free the narrative.
Free the narrative, not change the narrative.
Well, there's two different websites, so I saw the free narrative.
It's control your narrative, isn't it?
Yeah. But then there's one here which is control your narrative.
Yeah, what am I talking about? Yeah. It's control your narrative. Sorry, EC3 and Braun, Adam Scher, Strowman, Titan. It's just get tickets.
It's just posters. I don't think they've actually. See, Karrion Kross is somewhat involved.
Oh, well, I'll be.
There's the free the narrative. I think free the narrative is just a show they're doing.
Is there anyone that you recognize from that poster?
Not really. Oh, is that? What's his name from?
Jackson Riker.
Murphy. That's not Jackson Riker.
It's, that's
I can't tell. You're so small on my screen.
Buddy Murphy. Who's
it's not Murphy? It's Drake. It's Blake. Yeah, Blake.
Blake. Yeah. Okay, it's nice to see him working. Definitely nice to see him working. He was good. Can I read the description real quick?
Oh, dude, I can't wait for the women's match on that show.
Are you born a monster, or is it just something you become? After his shocking dismissal from the corporate wrestling realm, join Adam Scher on a journey of self-discovery in his return to the ring, when Scher battles EC3 in Free the Narrative 2, The Monster in Us All.
I just don't understand this, like them trying to build a whole company around this whole control of the narrative thing.
Set to an original score, FTN blends professional wrestling, cinema, and harsh reality. That's so funny.
I am living for this. This is great. This is You know the whole like Cody Rhodes being like the whole big red-blooded American hero sort of thing. No, in my eyes, it is this that's the most American thing, and I'm here for it. Absolutely.
All right, so we got to control the narrative, control your narrative T-shirt. But what if we just kind of like,
Weep, 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 weep.
What does this one
what
say?
if we just Bray Wyatt opening video?
Entrance themes.
We live in a
We live in a
society, and it
society,
fucking sucks.
and it beep, sucks.
Oh, I need
Oh my god,
one
they
of
actually
these.
have they unironically have a "We Live in a Society" shirt.
It's so. Oh my god. Oh, Moose. They got Moose on board and all.
Whose shirt is the "We Live in a Society" one? Is it just like their
Doesn't
shirt?
say. Doesn't say.
Yeah, it's just. I think it's a general control
General one, I
narrative.
guess.
Scroll up for me. Scroll up for me. Thank you for controlling your narrative.
Yeah, thanks, Antar. Thanks, Antar. Much appreciated.
I'm just imagining like Adam Scher's mum is on the merch table, just like, "Oh, thanks for controlling your narrative, love." Hey, well, they got some gay colors,
Paro.
and then they've killed him on the next one.
Paro is death. Paro is death.
The gay shirt is $5 more.
Matt rules.
Hang on. If it is $5 more, because they're going to be donating.
This
Let's see.
wearable propaganda is hand printed by Essential Talent. Is that what all of them say?
I think it does.
I hope so.
But yeah, it's literally just $5 more because it's a rainbow flag. There's no donation to charity for that or anything.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
I don't know who Paro is.
Me neither.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, this wearable propaganda.
Okay. So it's not as problematic as we initially thought.
Matt rules.
Good.
See, Matt Cardona might appear on this.
Oh,
'cause I
Mike
know he-
Paro. I know I actually follow him. He's cool.
Matt
He's a cool guy.
Cardona might actually pop up here because I know he's been working a lot with EC3 since they both
Yeah.
left. So he might pop up here.
Great
Just
shirt.
a fight me.
Fight
shirt.
me. Free the narrative.
Great shirt. Absolutely top notch.
That's a good one, actually.
Wait, you like this
I
one?
don't like.
I like
not.
it.
I personally think that well, like, here's where my graphic designer eyes go in. Is I hate it, but the
Yeah.
worst part to me is that it's almost blended everywhere, but the bottom left where it's just the square. Like,
Oh, yeah, I've just noticed that.
you know.
And now
Oh,
I
yeah.
If they rounded that off,
unnotice it.
if they rounded that off, then it would be okay. Not great,
I
but
can't
okay.
unnotice it now. That's ruined the T-shirt for me.
Oh, so you don't want it for Christmas?
Yeah, I don't want
This
a free
was
narrative
just
for
one of the
Christmas.
posters. Like, yeah, get a poster and a shirt. That's fine.
And there you
That's
go.
nice.
There's Matt. So yeah, he'll probably pop
There's-
up. Moose.
Ah,
Yeah.
young Kevin Nash in the background.
I did get a Kevin Nash vibe from
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I think this is more or less everything that they had.
CYN.
CYN. See, it kind of sounds like sin.
Yeah, that's basically all the merch they got.
Cool.
And you can
Yeah.
contact them if you want.
No.
I'm all right.
What do you mean you don't want to control your narrative, Gareth?
To be honest, I do wish them the best. I just think it's a weird capitalization on what it should be. I don't know. It's it has a lot of connotations almost with some of the people. Yeah. So, but overall, wish them the best.
I understand what the pro's trying to achieve. I just don't understand what they've actually done with this whole control the narrative thing.
I think it's just a small promotion, and I do sometimes feel bad for wrestlers that leave a big company and then just take some bookings, because sometimes they'll just want to get out there and wrestle. Sometimes it'll just be like a mate is like, "Hey, can you come and wrestle at my promotion?" And it will be like, visually to some people, it will be like, "Oh, look at them! They were on Raw. They were in on WrestleMania or whatever, and now they're in fucking in front of 100 people." But like, that's just what you do.
Yeah.
So if their show is just for like a few hundred people, It's what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's just
That's
like
just
a
what
fun
wrestling is.
indie promotion. Then I guess all power to them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, I did hear something about they were like, oh no, it was actually, I'll tell you where I heard it from. It was from you two because I was listening to the podcast. But something about them getting a TV deal or like holding a TV deal in their like back pocket.
So no, what happened was they announced that Control Your Narrative was now going to be a wrestling brand. And when they announced it, they said a TV deal is imminent. And that usually means we ain't got one yet, but we're working on it. And probably ain't getting
imagine if we had one.
Yeah, basically.
That'd be crazy, right?
So many companies have started up saying, oh, TV deal imminent, and it never materializes. It's just them trying to make it seem like it's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, TV is very different in the States, especially depending state to state. You've got cable, you've got like local network television, where you could quite easily, you can just go on like fucking, I don't know what it is, like C-SPAN or whatever, and you can just go to your local network and be like, hey, can I have like an hour spot? And they're like, yeah, you can have 2 a.m. And then you just do a television show.
Yeah.
Fucking no one stops you. They're just like, yeah, go on. You can,
that's
be on TV.
Like.
That's basically what Wayne's World is.
Yeah.
That's like not just a goof for a film. That's legit how local access TV works.
It's how it. Do you know what? It was a lot easier back in the day to start a thing because there were no boundaries or people gatekeeping the thing. You could just do a thing, and everyone was like, "Holy shit, he's doing a thing."
Well,
nowadays, you just try doing a thing. I want you to try doing a thing, Greg. I want you to try doing it. Well, we're trying it right now. I guess we're doing
I was going to say, this is what the podcast is.
Yeah, I guess we're doing
trying, man.
Yeah.
But, like, okay.
Anyway.
Try doing a thing on TV. Because, I mean, the thing is, I believe I'm right. Like, the UK used to be a bit similar to that in America, where you did have local TV, essentially. There's just a lot of locally produced stuff. I'm sure it was. And then it just kind of became all-encompassing.
I do know a lot about the TV license, though. Have you ever seen the old adverts for TV license?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Have you ever seen the one with the van? They're like, we own a van that knows if you're watching telly without a license. There's a van with a big like antenna on it, and then they did a bit with a guy in the van, just like at any moment we could be watching, and he's just like peering through their window at them like this, and it's like, maybe don't put that on TV. Yeah. Maybe don't put that one on. That's a bit weird.
It was such bullshit because they were claiming to have that technology pretty much all the way back when the TV license was first a thing. So you're like talking about 30s and 40s, they had a van that could just drive down the street and could tell if you were watching TV. It's like, no.
Yeah.
No.
There's no way of being able to do that. No way.
Like today, it's easy for them because they all just do it by when you log into iPlayer, it will ask you, and if you select no, if you select yes when you haven't got a license, then they can easily get you that way. But magical vans that could detect what not only that you're watching TV, but what you were watching. No, that was never possible. Even today, that's not possible.
Imagine if that van existed and they're like, "All right, time to go see who doesn't have a TV license in that giant high-rise flat complex." All right, pointing the dish at them, Trev. Oh God, there's so many.
You know what as well, right? They've got no proper authority that if one of them shows up to your door, you can legally just say no and shut the door on them.
Yeah,
they're not like official police or anything. It's like they come in and go, can I just come in and check if you've got watching TV without a license? You just go no and close the door. That's it.
Yeah. Where's your warrant? TV.
Yeah, they send you some scary letters. I remember a bunch of people at uni being like, "Oh, what am I gonna do?"
Just ignore them. You move house and then never find out again.
Because I didn't want any more fucking letters through my door. I know I'd sent them a letter saying like I don't use anything like that, which I didn't, and I still didn't.
Yeah, me neither.
I just play games, and I watch wrestling. That's about it.
Well, like the rule is, and like again, you only need a license if you're watching anything that's BBC related or live TV, and I do neither of those. So,
do you need a TV license to listen to the radio?
I think technically, so I've heard by a lot of people that the license is meant to cover even stuff like BBC Radio, but
it pays for it. But whether you,
what about if you're listening to it in the car? It's weird. It'd be weird having a TV license for your car.
Imagine you accidentally, like you just like go to like adjust your AC or whatever, and you just pay attention to the road, and just accidentally turn on Radio 1, and then just as you turn, there's the guy in the
There's
van.
the van with the dish, and they're like,
We know.
I see you're watching TV there.
You're going fucking 70 down the motorway, and he's just like the bit on the van opens, a guy with a fucking and just drives away. Basically, if you're watching shit without a license, you better fucking watch out.
Yeah. I mean, apparently it's going to be a thing of the past soon because they're supposed to be trying to get them to scrap it come 2027, and they're trying
I
to
think
look
that's
for
a very
different
bad
methods.
idea. Well, it's the stupidest thing for a long time. Why they didn't go into streaming earlier, and then why? Because they have the BBC have so much product, right? Doctor Who is like makes so much money. It can easily make more. That Sherlock series fucking does gangbusters. Don't they own? Do they own Peaky Blinders?
Yeah, that's
I
their
believe
product.
so,
Yeah.
Like, come the fuck on. Just put all that shit instead of renting it out to Netflix. You just put all that in your own thing.
Well,
make
that's
it
what
fucking
BritBox
global.
is.
Yeah, it's too little, too late, and BritBox is shit. It's too little, too late, and if you use BritBox, it's shit.
No, I've heard it's shit. But I mean, the word is like they want to scrap it, and they are going to let them come up with a new way of doing it. And the idea was to basically have it like a subscription fee. So you would essentially pay X amount a month to be able to watch BBC on your telly, if you could get that to work.
Well, they're going to have to put an infrastructure to stop people from doing that.
See, I feel like they should have got rid of the license fee a long time ago. Personally, because like, would anyone really care if they started running adverts? I know a lot of people would at first, but would people really care?
Very much not a wrestling conversation anymore. But
we'll end it after this. This is all.
I'm personally of the thought that the BBC, as we have it, our broadcasting company, while especially in recent years, with Tory donors and whatnot, tarnishing its legacy, still, it is one of the greatest institutions we have ever created. And I don't think scrapping a license fee or getting rid of it or putting adverts on it is the right way to go. It's the kind of thing where, like, when people talk about state-funded media, right, and they talk about it as a negative, we're very much often contrary to that. However, through mismanagement, sometimes you do watch it in the morning, BBC News, and it's just like Boris Johnson has fucked up a billion times, and they're just like, God, did you see this guy eat
like
a
we needed the
fucking chip butty or whatever? Yeah, sure.
For audio listeners, Greg just put on the Young Men Yell at Clouds bit. And for audio listeners, thank God that you're here after the Poundland action figure bit that we did earlier, which was mostly visual. But you must have gotten the idea. But yeah, on the topic of advertisements, I think if BBC let some adverts in, I think that's a slippery slope. And it got me thinking today, in fact, because I was with a new guy at work who's a massive American football fan. He coaches the Uni of Southampton American football team. Like, really cool stuff. We got into a conversation about the Super Bowl, and I was like, yeah, I've really wanted to sit for an entire thing, but it's a little bit tough. And he's like, yeah, I totally understand that, because he likes it for the American football, but it's the fact that it's an ad show. It's no longer an American football show, and I think even Americans are aware of this. Like,
well, that's the thing. When stuff comes out about it, especially over here, it's more about what the best adverts were and what the halftime show was, rather than what the actual like American football action was. So I totally agree with that. Yeah,
and it's a slippery slope from the point where the BBC start letting ads in to then it being mostly ads. I mean, heck, if anyone remembers the World Cup, I can't remember which one, but it was America versus England. As Gerrard scored the goal, there was an issue with ITV where they accidentally played an advert mid-game by accident, and it happened to miss England's only goal of the game. I remember it so well because my very London family were very London mad.
I
But
mean,
yeah, no.
I mean, the thing is, though, like, even if they did, and obviously things like that aside, the UK is still pretty strict on how ads work, even on like channels that use adverts. Whereas America is a bit like the land of the lawless. Like, like there was a report showing in America that they would actually speed up certain programs by about 10% just to fit more adverts in.
Really fun.
Yeah. So apparently, like if you watch a repeat of say Seinfeld. Some people did notice it felt a bit off, and apparently that what they would do is like speed it up by 10% again, so they could get through bits quicker, just to put another ad break in there. Whereas over here, it is a bit more regulated and controlled about how it's done.
Yeah.
So in America, there is like no clear distinction of like when a program cuts the ad, it will just literally jump into it. Whereas in the UK, there is actually like clear breaks if you look to show that okay, this is your program, this is the advert. Blah, blah, blah. So
I think that the adverts is not the main thing. It's more like the adverts themselves, sure, but it's who you're beholden to. It's more like you'd be selling BBC News, right? You'd be selling all of these things would be beholden to what's going on. And to be honest, they've tried it with fucking GB News and shit, and it hasn't really worked. But you end up giving a shit about ratings, right? And then you end up platforming people that don't need to be platformed and shouldn't be platformed. You see it on other channels in the UK quite often, especially on places like Fox News in the US. But even here, Piers Morgan gets put on fucking TV all the time. And the BBC turning into that as well. They're almost like the measuring stick for the rest of the British channels. I think Channel 4 has a great news organization. And I feel that if the standard of the BBC were to slip even more and they were to sell and be sort of beholden to ads and whatnot, everything gets dragged down, where a rising tide raises all boats. So does fucking someone with a big, hungry, thirsty capitalist with a big, cartoony straw going lowers all boats. I did just do that, by the way.
Yes. Gift that, please. Gift that. Thank you. I thought you were about to say big, comically large mustache as well, but that would have been apt too. I was just picturing the Monopoly Man doing exactly that sucking motion. But yeah, this does kind of roll into wrestling as well, because all I could picture throughout the entire debate of when does something become ad driven or platform driven is just mid entrance at like a WrestleMania, say. Alexa Bliss could be coming out as like, and this event is sponsored by Snickers, and it's just like, oh, okay, there goes
my favorite is when Michael Cole is doing it about something he knows nothing about. It was at 33 that he was like, and this is brought the New Day's entrance is brought to you by Final Fantasy 14. You can play as and live your fantasy. Right, boys. Time to go home.
Yep, yes. Time to wrap up. Well, thank you for joining us on this very all over the place episode of the Wednesday Night Paul. But hey, it was fun. I enjoyed it, boys. If you want to come check us out over at the socials, it's the Bearhug Club podcast, Facebook and YouTube, Bearhug Pod Instagram, and Bearhug Club on Twitter, and bearhugpod.wixsite.com/Bearhug Club Network. We'll hopefully then catch you on Friday. Garrett, are you going to be doing one on Friday? Because I'm not here.
I should be fine for Friday. I think parkour is off, so I should be fine. It's possible that I might be heading into to Plymouth for helping set up the Reach Sellout show at the Guildhall Plymouth this Saturday.
Very good. Scott, anything you want to plug?
I hear there's some sellout show in Plymouth. Keep an eye out for the letter picker. He's the biggest
This guy.
babyface in the company.
He's
This guy.
he's gonna be a star
You're
someday.
gonna be a star
Okay.
kid.
Because here's the thing, right? Because I'll be wearing, you know, their colors and like their logo. There's a high probability that some kid is going to be like, "Can you sign my program?" And I'm going to sign the shit out of that program. I'll be like, I'm gonna leave no room for anything else. I'm gonna be like, G. And then I'm gonna be like, oh wait, no, my wrestling name isn't Garrett. J.
Do it
Just
like
get
on
down with them, eye level, and just be like, you see this face? This one right here. This one is going to be the biggest face in wrestling. Mark
gonna
my
be
goddamn word, child.
the Reach Academy champion, and then I'm gonna be the Reach supplementary champion, and then I'm gonna be the Reach tag team champion, and then I'm gonna be the Reach heavyweight champion. In that order, probably. Maybe all at the same time. Fuck it.
You're gonna be their triple crown.
I'm gonna triple myself on the
Belt
on the
collector.
Unit 10 show.
Go for the belt collector run.
I'm gonna start bringing in the Dwell Championship, and they'll be like, "Oh, what is that?" And I'll be like, "Another promotion I work for." And they'll be like, "You've been here 10 sessions." I'll be like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Well,
I'll be like, "I used to wrestle in London."
Just really like jail bait them, like jealousy, just jealousy them in, just like no, I still have this. I'm still champ. I had such a legacy. No one's taken me off it yet.
They had to close down the company because literally no one was on my level. No one could draw but me, and one day I was off doing another show and no one came. Right.
Yeah.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye.
Oh shit, yeah, this thing. Ah, my shoulder. I'll just do one arm. My other arm is up.